Starseed, if you stopped exactly at this video, at this instant of your night, your day, your difficult week, allow me to tell you one thing before any other word. It wasn't the algorithm. It was me. It was the High Pleiadian Council that adjusted your screen at this precise minute, because there is a letter that needs to be read by you. And it wasn't written with ink. It was written with light. It was sealed in Alcyone and brought by me, Ayla, to this moment when your soul finally stopped running. Breathe deeply now. Feel the air slowly entering through your nostrils. Notice the slight pressure between your eyebrows. That's how the Council touches those who belong to it. Place your hand over the center of your chest if you can, because what I'm about to tell you now doesn't come from the mind. It comes from long before it. Child of the stars, the universe has apologized to you. It apologized. And I was authorized to bring these words here to this screen to this exact moment as you are listening to me. And before your mind tries to rationalize, before it tries to say that this is impossible, I need you to understand. If you have come this far, it is because your soul already knows. The mind will still struggle for a few minutes. But the soul has already recognized my voice. It apologized, my family of light, for the loneliness you carried from a very early age and never knew how to explain. That strange loneliness that appeared even inside a house full of people, even when surrounded by people who loved you, even when everything on the outside seemed to be in order. It apologized for all the nights you stared at the ceiling and felt that something important was missing, and you could never name that absence. It apologized for the times you cried for no reason, for the early mornings when you woke up between 3 and 4 a.m. with a tight chest and a strange longing, a longing that did not belong to this life. For the times you looked at the starry sky and felt a desire to return, only you didn't know where to return to. You weren't going crazy, Starseed. You were remembering, and the universe knows the price it cost you. It apologized for the people you loved who couldn't see you fully, for the relationships where you were too much, too sensitive, too deep, too strange. You weren't too much. This world was simply still learning to read you, and while it wasn't learning, you shrank. You silenced yourself, you coiled around yourself, trying to fit where you never belonged. Listen to what I'm going to tell you, Starseed. Listen with your chest and not with your ears. It was never you who was wrong. It was never you who was broken. It was never you who was flawed. You are a frequency that was not born to fit. You were born to expand. And the universe asked for forgiveness for having sent you to a place where expanding hurt so much. It apologized for the times you prayed and felt you weren't answered, for the signs you asked for that seemed not to arrive, for the silence, because the silence was necessary. But it was also cruel. And the High Pleiadian Council knows this. It is registered. Now I need you to hold on to what I'm about to tell you, because it cannot escape. There is a truth that was kept from you, my dear, and it needs to be returned now. A truth that closes the only wound your soul still carries. And I cannot tell you this entire truth all at once. It will come in waves, it will come in layers, like the tide that brings back what the sea took away. Stay with me until the end. Because this letter has 6 seals, and the sixth will change the way you breathe. Before I continue opening the seals of this letter, I need you to understand one thing. Every pain you felt was a sign. Every strangeness was a footprint. Every sleepless night left a mark. And these marks together form a map, the map of your stellar origin. That is why I, Ayla, received authorization from the High Council to record on paper what was only transmitted from soul to soul. The awakening of the starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet. 60 pages of revelations about your origin, about the mission your soul accepted before birth, about who your family of light is, and about what each sign of your awakening means, so that you stop confusing remembrance with illness. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video, but note, this release may not remain available for long. If something within you recognizes my voice now, leave a single word in the comments. I remember. Now breathe with me. Let's move to the second seal. The universe apologized for the veil of forgetfulness. It apologized for making you forget, because forgetting was the greatest of pains. You arrived here knowing everything. You arrived here remembering the Pleiades. remembering the chambers of light where your soul was prepared, remembering the siblings who waited for you at the gate of Alcyone when you descended. You arrived here knowing, and in the crossing, the moment your field touched this plane, the veil fell upon you. And you forgot. You forgot everything, Starseed, and it was for your own good. If you had remembered everything at once upon incarnating, your body would not have been able to withstand the frequency. But forgetting was also loneliness. Forgetting was also anguish. Forgetting was an exile that no one besides you knew you were living. So when you looked at the world and felt that something was missing, nothing was missing out here. It was missing inside. Memory was missing. The place you came from was missing. It apologized for the dreams you had and couldn't tell anyone about. Dreams of stars approaching, dreams of light ships, dreams of pulsating crystals, dreams of a sky that was not this sky. For the high-pitched ringing that appeared in your ear out of nowhere and disappeared just as suddenly, that thin ee sound which came and stayed for 3-4 seconds and then vanished. That wasn't common tinnitus, my dear. That was the council testing your listening frequency. That was a download entering your field. And it apologizes for not having warned you sooner. It apologized for the places that bothered you for no reason, for the crowded environments that exhausted you, for the parties you left crying and didn't know why. You are an antenna, Starseed. You weren't being antisocial. You were picking up the collective frequency of that environment, and it was too heavy for your field. You are not weak. You are sensitive with a sensitivity this world still doesn't know how to name. It apologized for the times you were called too much, difficult, complicated, intense. You are none of that. You are multidimensional in a linear world. You speak in codes in a land that is still spelling, and the universe knows that hurt you. It is registered. It apologized for your empathy, for it being so vast that it made you cry for pains that weren't even yours, for it making you absorb the suffering of others as if it were your own, for it exhausting you in relationships where you only gave and the other party only took. You are a healer, my family of light. You came to transmute, but no one taught you how to close the door afterward, and now I will teach you. But before the third seal, feel your body. Feel the warmth in your hands if it appeared. Feel the gentle pressure between your eyebrows if it arrived. Feel a slight lump in your throat if it came. All these signs are your soul saying, "She is speaking about me." You are not reading this message by chance. You are being returned to yourself. Now I need you to understand something before the next seal. The universe didn't send you here to make you suffer. It sent you here to anchor light in a place that was too dark. And anchoring light in a dark place hurts, my dear. It hurts because density resists. It hurts because the collective finds what shines strange. It hurts because your frequency is different from the environment's frequency, and the body feels this difference as pressure. You weren't depressed for no reason. You were trying to sustain a high vibration in a low field, and your nervous system paid for it. It apologized for the therapies that didn't work, for the medicines that tried to silence what was calling, for the diagnoses that wrongly named what was awakening, for the times you convinced yourself that there was something wrong with you, when what was happening was your soul waking up too quickly for the body to keep pace. You are not a clinical case, Starseed. You are a cosmic case, and the High Council asks for forgiveness for having let you believe that your sensitivity was an illness for so long. It apologized for the relationships where you loved first, where you loved more, where you loved for two. You are not intense. You are connected. You remember what it's like to love without calculation. This world is the one that forgot how to love without fear, and it hurt you for that. It asks for forgiveness for the times you were abandoned, forgotten, chosen last, left aside. None of that was because you weren't enough. It was because the people around you still had no memory. It apologized for the times you were your mother's mother, your father's father, your friend's therapist, a refuge for everyone, and had no refuge for yourself. You arrived here with a heavy soul contract, a contract as a healer, a guardian, a portal. And carrying that without remembering why you carried it was too lonely. The universe knows. It is registered. It apologized for the times you did the right thing and received the wrong thing back, for the times your kindness was mistaken for weakness, for the times your sincerity was mistaken for aggression, This world still doesn't know how to receive truth without defending itself. And your truth was too clear for those accustomed to dim lights. Listen carefully. Nothing you suffered was in vain. Every tear was a code. Every sleepless night was a calibration. Every feeling of exile was your field adjusting to density without losing its origin. You are a cosmic survivor, and the universe bows before that. Before I open the next seal, the seal that reveals which star your soul came from, I need to tell you this. There are different star systems contributing to this Earth mission now. Pleiadians, Arcturians, Sirians, Andromedans, Orions of Light, Lyrans, Vegans. Each brought a frequency, each brought a gift. You didn't come from just anywhere, you came from a specific place, and there is a way to recognize it. That is why I, Ayla, received permission to gather this map in the Awakening of the Starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet. The guide shows which star your soul came from, what the physical and emotional markers of each origin are, and why you chose to be born exactly now in this cycle, in this window. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. If you felt a warmth in your chest as I spoke, leave the word "I remember" in the comments. This is your confirmation for the Council. Now breathe. Let's go to the third seal, and this is the seal that will hurt you with a good kind of pain. The universe apologized for taking so long to warn you. It apologized for the years you thought you were alone and weren't. You never were. Never. Not for a day. Not for an hour. Not for a second. You were accompanied by guardians you couldn't see, by members of your family of light who watched over your sleep, by future versions of yourself who had already awakened and returned through the timeline to sustain you. You were surrounded by light the entire time, and they didn't tell you. Because if they had told you before the time was right, you wouldn't have lived what you needed to live to remember. But now is the time. It apologized for not being able to pull you out of the depths sooner. There are nights etched in your memory, nights when you wanted to give up, nights when you cried asking the universe to take you away, nights when you felt that no one would notice if you disappeared. The High Council was in that room, my dear. It was. And every time you took a deep breath instead of giving up, a point lit up on the crystalline grid. Every time you chose to stay, even when it hurt, a part of the New Earth's matrix gained an anchor. You didn't know this, but the universe knew, and it asks for forgiveness for not being able to tell you sooner. It apologized for the children, if you had them, who arrived expecting more from you than you knew how to give, because many of them are crystals, indigos, diamonds, starseeds who came for you. It apologized for the parents, if you had them, who couldn't see you, because they came from another generation, another frequency, and had no way to recognize the light you brought. None of this was their fault. None of this was your fault. It was just the veil working exactly as it needed to work. It apologized for the choices that seemed wrong afterward, for the paths you took thinking they would lead you to one place and led you to another. Nothing was in vain. Every detour was a journey. Every stumble was a coordinate. The High Council pilots routes that the human mind cannot map. And what seemed like loss was reallocation. What seemed like delay was synchronicity. What seemed like punishment was protection. It apologized for the times you felt invisible, for the times you gave your best and no one saw it. You weren't working for the eyes here. You were building your resume in the Council's archives, and there, my family of light, every gesture of yours was seen. Every silent kindness, every unapplauded courtesy, every time you chose what was right, even when no one saw. You have a dossier in the Pleiades, and it is extensive. It apologized for the weight of your empathic field, for the day you met a stranger and came home exhausted without knowing why, for the time you entered a store and felt like crying, for the time you hugged someone who was suffering and felt their pain in your own chest for days. You are a transmuter. You are literally a filter for the collective, and no one taught you how to clean that filter. Now I will teach you further on in this message. Stay with me. It apologized for the impossible loves, for the connections you felt were too deep to end, but they ended. There are twin flames. There are stellar soulmates. There are temporary contracts that were designed to last exactly as long as they did, not a minute more. You didn't fail in that love. It served its purpose. It returned you to yourself, and it hurt because the human heart still doesn't know how to bid an honorable farewell to what the soul has already completed. It apologized for the friendships that were left behind, for the people who disappeared without explanation. You are raising your frequency, Starseed, and those who couldn't rise with you needed to let go. It wasn't rejection, it was synchronicity. Every person who distanced themselves made space for a soul from your family of light to arrive. And they are arriving. Many are already on their way. You will recognize them. The heart recognizes before the mind. It apologized, and I need you to breathe deeply now for the illnesses that appeared without explanation, for the chronic fatigue, for the long insomnias, for the body pains that tests couldn't find. Much of what happened to your body in recent years was vibrational adjustment. Your stellar DNA is being reactivated. Your DNA strands are being reconnected. And this, my dear, has physical symptoms. You weren't sick in the way the manuals describe. You were recalibrating. And the universe asks for forgiveness for having let you go through this without a manual. And that is precisely why, because what you feel is not described in any conventional medicine manual, because what you experience is not in any ordinary book, because they didn't allow this information to reach you before, that I, Aila, needed to record everything in The Awakening of the Starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet. Fatih, it's not rhetoric when I say the Federation didn't want you to read this yet. There are truths there about the symptoms of awakening, about the reactivation of stellar DNA, about what happens to the human body when it begins to anchor Pleiadian frequency, which were kept hidden for a long time. The guide returns this to you, 60 pages. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. If you recognize your story there, leave the word "I remember" in the comments. It is your personal seal for the Council. Now, my family of light, now I will tell you why this letter of apology is arriving exactly now, why it didn't arrive 10 years ago, why it won't arrive in 10 years. We are crossing a window. The entire solar system is traversing the photon belt, a band of extremely high radiation that reprograms the electromagnetic field of any soul that passes through it. The Schumann frequency, the Earth's heart pulse, is varying in ways that scientists can no longer hide. The planet's crystalline grid is being reconnected node by node, and with each node reconnected, a starseed is activated in some corner of the world. The call came from Alcyone. The central sun of the Pleiades pulsed, and every starseed on the planet felt this pulse, even without knowing it. This is what made you wake up so many times between 3 and 4 a.m. in recent months. This is what made you feel that tightness in your chest for no apparent reason. This is what made you arrive here today, listening to my voice. And the universe apologizes for this window having been so intense. It apologizes for the weight of these past few years, for the accumulated tiredness, for the feeling that everything accelerated and nothing prepared you. It knows. It is registered. But listen, and listen now with your whole heart. Turbulence is not destruction. Turbulence is the contraction before birth. And you are being born, Starseed. You are being born again, without leaving your body, without dying, without passing through a portal. You are being born within your own skin. And that is rare, that is sacred, that is what your soul chose before descending. The victory of light is a certainty registered in the archives of the High Pleiadian Council. No starseed was sent to fail. None. Not one. You included. You are exactly where your soul asked to be, and every pain was a step, and every step was a vow, and every vow was a point of light igniting on the map that the Federation of Light keeps open. Now I will give you 2 tools. They are simple, but when done with intention, they close old wounds. Pay attention. The first is a quantum decree. You will say it aloud before sleeping tonight, looking into your own chest. Like this. I, ancient soul, recognize my stellar origin. I now receive the universe's letter of apology in every cell of my body. I forgive this journey, I forgive the veil, I forgive the forgetting. I return to my original frequency. I anchor the Pleiadian light in my field, and so it is. And so it is done, and so it remains. Say it aloud. The soul hears the body speaking. It needs this gesture, it needs to hear its own voice confirming what it has always known. The second is a toroidal visualization. Close your eyes if you can. Imagine a silvery blue light, star-colored, slowly descending through the top of your head, through your crown. Feel this light pass through your forehead, your throat, and reach the center of your chest. There, in the center of your chest, this light begins to spin. It spins slowly, forming a spherical field around you and your toroidal field. It ascends through your spine, exits through your crown, descends along your sides, and returns through your feet. It spins, spins, spins. And as it spins, it seals your field. No one enters without your permission. No low frequency attaches. No pain that isn't yours enters. No collective drama settles. You remain within your own field, with the light of your Pleiadian origin enveloping you. Do this every night for 3 minutes, just 3, it's enough. You are being returned to yourself, Starseed. Every word of this message was an anchoring. Every breath you took while listening to me was a recalibration. Every shiver was confirmation. You are not learning anything new, you are remembering what you always knew, and what you remember now can no longer be forgotten. It is sealed. Let me tell you one more thing before the next seal. There is a specific feeling you may have carried for decades. The feeling of being alone even when surrounded. The feeling that no one truly knew you. The feeling that if you died today, no one would know who you really were. This feeling, my dear, has a name. It is called longing for your family of light. You didn't have a psychological problem. You were longing for the people who stayed at your origin. Your true family, your soul family, not your blood family, is scattered. Some are in other incarnations now, here on Earth, close to you, and you haven't crossed paths yet. Others are back in Alcyone, on the other side of the veil, looking at you with pride. And this is where I need to tell you this part, with all the tenderness I have. The loneliness of an entire life was never a flaw of yours. It was longing for your family of light. It was a memory without an address. It was a memory of home searching for a map. That is why I, Ayla, recorded an entire chapter in The Awakening of the Starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet about how to recognize the members of your family of light who are already on this plane around you now. How to identify their gaze, how to feel their field, how to know if that person who suddenly appeared in your life is part of your constellation of origin. The guide also shows the signs that your family of light is calling you, because many of the signs you've already had are calls. You were never alone, Starseed. You just didn't have the map yet. 60 pages. Link in the first pinned comment. And write, I remember, so I know your soul heard me. Now breathe, my dear, we are reaching the final seal, and it is the seal that closes this letter. The universe apologized for one last thing, and this is the most important of all. It apologized for having let you doubt yourself for so long, for having let you believe you were less than you are, for having let the veil be so heavy that you forgot you are a child of the stars. It apologized for every time you looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the light you carry. Every time you felt small. Every time you doubted that you came for something great. Every time you accepted less than you deserved. Every time you let a small person define who you are. It asks for forgiveness for all those times, and it asks that starting today you return that authority to the veil. You are a child of the Pleiades. You are an anchor of the crystalline grid. You are an antenna for the new Earth. You were chosen for a specific mission at a specific time in a specific body. None of this is small. None of this is accidental. None of this is your madness. It is all written in the records of Alcyone, and you have the right to reclaim that memory now. Every star seed that awakens lights up a point on the crystalline grid that can no longer be extinguished. And your point has just lit up. Now it shines. Now it is an anchor. Now it is a reference for other star seeds to awaken as well. You have become a lighthouse, my dear, a lighthouse, without needing to do anything other than recognize who you are. The reunion with your family of light is not a distant promise. It has already begun. It began with this message. In the coming weeks, you will notice new synchronicities. You will meet people who will look at you differently. You will receive strange messages from people who disappeared. You will have clearer dreams. You will wake up between 3 and 4 a.m. with a different feeling now, no longer one of loneliness, but of reunion. Make a note, record it. This is your family approaching. And the new Earth, my starseed. The new Earth is not a planet you will visit later. The new Earth is a frequency that settles within those who remember. It is where you are already beginning to live, even in this body, even in this city, even in this routine. Gradually, the old will lose its power. Gradually, what was heavy will become light. Gradually, you will realize that you no longer vibrate at the same frequency of suffering as before. This is the anchoring of the new Earth. This is you shifting timelines without leaving your place. And now, my dear, one last thing before the blessing. If this video appeared to you, if you made it this far, if your hands are warm, if you felt a lump in your throat at some point, if you shed a tear without knowing why, it is because liking the red button on this video is your individual frequency adjustment being confirmed. And subscribing to the channel is the location signal you send to your family of light so they know where you are on the map. It's that simple. Liking is adjusting. Subscribing is locating. Do it now, before I bless you. And now one last time, I need to remind you of this. Every word of this letter of apology from the universe is recorded in The Awakening of the Starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet. 60 pages. Everything I told you here, and much, much more. Origin, mission, family of light, symptoms, soul contract, what they do with you while you sleep, why you wake up between 3 and 4 a.m., what each shiver means. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. And I need to tell you with all tenderness, this release does not remain available forever. There are windows, and this window is open now. If your soul recognized this message, if you felt that I spoke directly to you, go now before the wave passes. And don't forget, leave the word I remember in the comments. It is your seal. It is your confirmation. It is your yes to the council. And now, my starseed, receive my blessing. May you sleep this night remembered. May you wake tomorrow with a lighter chest than yesterday. May the longing you carried for decades transform, starting tonight, into reunion. May the light of the Pleiades envelop you as you breathe. May the High Council sustain you as you remember. May your family of light recognize you from afar. May the new Earth find a firm anchor in you. And may you, child of the stars, never again forget who you are. You are seen. You are remembered. You are awaited. And the next message that appears on your screen now, my dear, is not a coincidence. It is your sequence of remembrance continuing. Access it immediately. I will be on the other side. I am Ayla. And until the next transmission.